Welcome to Tackle Today. This is Coach Matt. Let's break down the top 5 stories impacting the market right now. And don't forget to sign up for tonight's precision trading webinar to learn how to trade the markets like a pro. Story number 1, President Trump signals more tariffs on key sectors as the market is attempting to break out of that all-time resistance level right there at the 610 level. President Trump said he's considering 25% tariffs across the board on automobiles, pharmaceuticals, semiconductors, expanding U.S. trade policy. Now, the potential move, which could begin right around April 2nd, which would impact major auto exporters like Mexico, Japan, Canada, and certainly key companies like Taiwan Semiconductor, who's a supplier to NVDA and Apple. These companies could feel a little bit of pressure if the semiconductor tariffs do take shape. Now, we already have a certain degree of tariffs already on semiconductors, specifically coming out of China. So this is more across the board. Now, President Trump does argue that the policy is going to be encouraging companies to bring manufacturing of those very sensitive semiconductor chips back to the United States and manufacturing in general back to the United States. And we have seen some evidence recently of manufacturing data increasing. We will get the latest manufacturing data on Thursday with the PMI report. So let's move on to story number 2. As Warren Buffett is smiling here today as Occidental tries to form a nice little W formation, trying to form that reversal taking shape. And keep an eye on the 52.5 level as Oxy does beat by 6%. They're testing that upwards resistance level in the W formation after they did beat by 14% on the EPS side of the equation. Now, revenue was down 9% year over year, but a good beat on the EPS side of the equation. Energy stocks catching a bid. Devon also in the news here today as they reported earnings, and a very similar beat out of Devon here today as well. So good beats out of the energy sector here today as both Oxy and Devon come through on earnings. Now let's move over and let's talk a little bit about the home builders who are not catching a bid here today. As you can see, those home builders are selling off just a little bit. Well, that's because Toll Brothers reported earnings here today. And the simple reality on Toll Brothers earnings report is we can talk about the EPS. They missed by 12%. We can talk about revenue. It's down 4.5% year over year. But the biggest problem is the guidance, thinking about the future. Toll Brothers says we have to lower guidance slightly. So they trim Q2 guidance. Misses are bad enough. You lower guidance as well. That's a strikeout when we're talking about an earnings report coming out of Toll Brothers. The gap down is warranted from that situation. Now, staying in the earnings side of the equation, let's talk a little bit about Arista. As the AI Gold Rush stock, they did report earnings here today. A little bit of a gap down situation, 6% gap down, kissing up against that $100 support level. Very important support level when you're looking at ANET. Now, unlike what we saw at Toll Brothers where they missed and lowered guidance on the gap down, that's not the case here in Arista. Arista came in with a 6.5% beat against EPS. Revenue was up 25% year over year. They actually also increased forward-looking guidance slightly as well. And so you're looking at a little bit of a gap down situation despite a hat trick being pulled by Arista. That looks to be a pre-programmed selling program despite the beats. And so you got a little bit of a gap down concerning data coming out of Arista from a technical perspective, as that does look like a head and shoulders formation when we're talking about overall technical patterns. And the last story, kind of a cool little story coming out of Microsoft here today, as Microsoft unveils the first quantum computing chip. Now, don't get too excited. This is not for public, but that is a very cool story and a very good accomplishment when you're talking about the overall AI development and the build out. There's been massive debate on the quantum side of the equation. Some people thinking it's decades away. Well, Microsoft comes out and proves it's not decades away. It is years away. That is amazing development coming out of Microsoft, and well done on their side of the equation, laying the groundwork for the future where quantum tech reshapes, yes, entire industries. And thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for being the best part of Tackle Trading. Make sure to sign up for the Precision Trading webinar so that we can have some fun learning the technical side of the equation tonight, learning how to trade those markets like a pro. Make sure to hit that like and share on the way out the door. And I hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day.